to another episode of Lean Hybrid Muscle TV. Last tutorial that I did like this, I described what hybrid muscle was, and we talked about type 1 muscle fibers, and we talked about type 2 muscle fibers, and the type 3 muscle fiber that we are looking to strengthen in order to elicit a response, which is to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. A lot of new things have happened since the last time I spoke to you guys in this fashion. My body has changed tremendously. You might not be able to tell with this baggy t-shirt on, but I'll reveal it to you in the next couple of weeks. Now, let's get down to business. A lot of you guys have been asking me, how do I design hybrid training programs, hybrid muscle building programs, and access that type 3 muscle fiber? So we don't have a program yet out for you guys to take a look at, but I figured, why don't I just show you exactly how I've been doing it here for myself at Strength Camp, and also for the guys and athletes that train at my gym. And this is pretty much my formula for training people at my gym, Strength Camp, including athletes and my fitness clients. So I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. And this is really the nuts and bolts of it. You can design your own program with the information that I'm giving you. Now, I drew some pictures on here to make it a little bit more entertaining for you. But if you take a look, we've got a spectrum. I call this the hybrid training spectrum. Over on this side, we have fire. And on this side, we have the exact opposite. We have water. Now, there are parameters associated with fire training and people who are predominantly fire-oriented. They get a lot out of fire training, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment. And we have the exact opposite people or parameters that are associated with water training. And I'll tell you what I mean in a moment. And people who respond really well and have a tendency towards water-type training. And then in the middle here, we have our hybrid training, and this is pretty much where we take all of the best quality of fire training and combine it with the best qualities of water training without killing yourself. Because if you remember the last video I told you, I said we need to train heavy, we need to train a lot, we need to train often, and we have to train with very short rest intervals. And a lot of people are asking, like, Elliot, are you out of your mind? There's absolutely no way I can do that. How do you do it without burning yourself out? So I'm going to show you exactly how we do it, and there's a secret that I didn't reveal, but I'll show you exactly now how we do it, so that how we design these programs so you don't kill yourself. Okay, the parameters associated with fire training, really quickly: high intensity. That means heavy weight. When people say intensity, a lot of times they don't know what they're talking about. When we're talking about intensity, we mean the actual weight being lifted. So 90% or higher, just really heavy weights, things that you could do only about 3 to 5 repetitions with. So the next one is volume, 3 to 5 repetitions. Rest intervals are going to be really high, or you're going to have like 2 to 3 minute rest intervals. A lot of rest because you're lifting such heavy weight. And frequency. You know, when you're training with such heavy weights, your nervous system is going to be sort of fatigued, and it's going to be very difficult to train that heavy multiple times a week, or with the same exact exercise, like a bench press, a heavy bench press, for example. And on the other side, we've got our water training, which is low intensity, which is like body weight or less than 50% of your 1 rep max. When I say body weight, I mean like jogging and things of that nature, swimming, stuff like that. Less than 50% of your 1 rep max, you're going to be able to do repetitions that are well above 15, maybe even up into 30 or 40 repetitions with that. So it's high volume, low volume, high volume. Also timed. So I say timed simply because it's like, you know, you can go on for a half an hour or an hour doing the same exact exercise at low intensity. Rest intervals are going to be either 0 or less than 60 seconds. Very low rest intervals. You don't need a lot of rest here. You're just going on and on and on and on. So that's where the 0 comes from. And frequency. You can pretty much, to some degree, granted that there's some variation, train like that every single day. So along that spectrum, we call this a number 1, and we call fire training a number 5. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, here's what we do. We take high intensity, we take all the highs, all the ups, and we stick them in, we blend them together, and we make sure that we're doing the best here. High intensity, high volume, high frequency, high rest intervals. We kind of combine all the best of the both, but you're going to kill yourself if you try to do that on your own. So what we do with hybrid training is we use something called concurrent periodization. All that really means, that word concurrent means being done currently together. So we are combining everything together in the same microcycle. Now, I don't want to get too scientific with regard to macrocycles and microcycles, but your microcycle is basically a week's period of time, as opposed to doing just this type of training for 5 weeks and then doing this type of training for 5 weeks, or bulking and then cutting. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is combine them and within the same microcycle, and the macrocycle ends up looking like multiple weeks with both involved. And I hope you gather that. So anyway, a sample program of what a 3 or a 4 would look like on that hybrid spectrum, and what we want to achieve with our hybrid strength training programs would be